Thank you, Jessica. Okay, so here we go. We'll just get started and hopefully people hop on. Okay, so we did one more week of food and water. And last time we talked a little bit more, dang Kelsey, I was bummed you missed it because this was your request. We talked a little bit more about um why we prepare spiritually. And I did send out a talk in the group that I loved by Elder Bednar. And he kind of talked about like really coming to know the Lord, and like when we meet him at the judgment day, like we want to be able to know him, and so in a special way. And how do we do that? We read the scriptures, and I mean he talks about a whole list of things. So I invite you guys to review the talk because it is actually really, really good. And it's a great one to like share with people that aren't part of our church, I think too. Like just reading some of the things and the suggestions and the ideas that he has about it. I do think it's like if people ever were to ask you like, hey, why do you prepare, and stuff like that. So love it. Okay, so last time we just talked about a few different things. Some people said like having the food and water in 1 week was like really overwhelming, and so we decided to extend it out to 2 weeks. And just bear in mind that with this beta group, what you're doing is like what you're doing in a week is what you'd be doing in a month in the real thing. So this is like lightning fast. And so whatever you guys are accomplishing and working on, like that's like amazing and stellar. Like it's you're way ahead of the curve here. Okay, so just know that. So I would love to talk about, okay, did you guys all get the email with like the access to the water course and the 28 easy eats and everything like that? Okay, cool. And I hope that was helpful. Those 28 easy eats are like extremely helpful. We're planning on revamping it a little bit and adding some more recipes and stuff like that for this coming fall. So hopefully that works out and it's helpful. It's been extremely helpful for me. But I want to find out how your guys' week went with like doing some of your baby steps. Like I didn't get to hear Janica and Kelsey, what were your guys' baby steps, or if Mikkel, if you chose a new one or just continue to work on what you were doing.
So I'm really excited. I just got the Sangen water filter that you guys suggested.
Oh
'Cause we
yeah,
have,
that's the best.
yeah, we have the 55 gallon barrel things, and
Good.
I was just like, that would be really awesome if I didn't have to change out the water.
Yes, it is like a total game
So,
changer, and it's such a
yeah.
powerful filter. Like even with like the grossest water, they've done so many studies on it, and like these are like third-party studies, that show it really does, like you could just, I mean, I think one thing that they did was they took toilet water and they like ran it through the filter and it like cleaned it perfectly, so that's so
Hey,
exciting.
that's
Yes, good
awesome.
job.
I'm
I
really
know.
excited. So, yeah, I actually just got it. So it's right here.
Yes. Yeah, charge it up. Take it out. Hey, that's huge. That's a huge step. And how do you feel like having done that? Like, I see you feel excited, you feel better at peace.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a huge weight off my shoulders for like,
Mhm.
oh, do I need to remember to switch that out? Is it this year or is it next year? You know, because we
Yes.
because we got like this like crazy chlorine stuff, and I was just like, well, I don't know how I feel about drinking like that much chemical, because it was like my husband's dad is like super preparedness guy, like, but he's
Right.
old school and he like doesn't care about microplastics, doesn't care about like, the chemicals so much at all. And I'm like, and I get it, like in a dire situation, you probably don't care too much about what the water tastes like, but or like your,
For what it's doing inside your
effect.
body.
Right, but at the same time, I'm like, what? like, if we can do better, might as well. It's kinda like when my husband bought, like, a ton of, like, a Morton salt, and I'm like, "But we like the Himalayan salt or the Redmond salt," and he was
Yeah.
like, "But it's fine, we just need a bunch of salt," you know? And I was like, but if we
Not
can,"
the same.
you know?
Yeah, not quite the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so I don't know.
know.
It's just, like, different
I love
priorities, I
it.
guess, but, um
Yeah, so we actually it's so funny that you brought that up because we planned some of our reels that we're gonna share just this morning, and
Mhm.
one of them is gonna be on like water storage and like the chlorine, and it's like that's one way to do it and it does work, but do you really want to put chemicals in your body? Do you really want to be having to change out the water every 6 months to a year? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
yeah.
so I love that. Way to go. Okay, that's a huge win. You just pat yourself on the back. Okay. All right. Okay, who wants to go next and tell me about like some wins from your week? Oh, actually, before we do that, Kelsey, talk to me about did you have any questions or did you face like any challenges with preparing this week?
I noticed, like, just a lot of the food that we eat, a lot of
Uh-huh.
is more, like, fresh foods, and,
Uh-huh.
like, so, I mean, my kids love PB&Js, so, like, that's one thing, but,
Hmm.
like, other than that, it's like we have eggs in the morning or, just stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't really know of a really good way to store eggs unless it's, like, freeze dried, but,
Hmm.
I don't know. And then I have to go buy a bunch of freeze-dried eggs, just, like, storage-wise, but just thinking about that, and I was just like, "But this isn't." I wasn't sure whether I should go do that or whether I should just be, like, focused on, because like, we also have other sources where we get our eggs, like, my brother-in-law has chickens, and he
Oh.
they give us eggs and, stuff like that, so, but sometimes we buy because they don't have enough or whatever, because they just give us kind of what's extra.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I guess that was my biggest thing was just like, okay, how do I plan these meals like in like an emergency situation? Like what would we eat in like from food storage kind of deal? But that's like, I mean, not terrible,
Love
probably,
it.
but I just, just trying to figure it out, I guess, was all.
Yeah. I heard a change in your voice and you're like, "Do I get the freeze-dried eggs?" And, like, I could tell, like, that thought was stressing you out. Like, is that
Yeah, well, I just like, I don't know, cause I mean, we could, it would just be, like, a ton of effort, you know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we actually do, like, for example, my father-in-law, he has a freeze dryer machine, and he's like, "Come over and
Oh,
use it anytime," but I'm just like, "Okay, then we have to drive, like, all the way over there with our eggs ready to go," and, like, I'm just like, "Ugh,"
yeah,
or I could just buy it, and then I'm like, but then I would have to, like, worry about rotating it out and,
right.
it's just a
Because
lot
the
of.
freeze-dried eggs are less like, they only last about 8 years
Mhm,
instead of, like, some other foods, maybe, like, 20 or 30.
mhm,
So, yeah, so I see what you're saying. Hmm. That's a good one. That would be a really good one. I had a couple thoughts
mhm,
as you were saying. My first thought was if you want to go the purchasing freeze dried route, OVA Easy. It's like OVA Easy, and I can put it in the group. I'll make like a little note really quick of things I'm putting in the group so I don't forget. OVA Easy. So that is probably the best brand that I have found. And I get that from a very reliable, good source that I trust deeply. So, because he's tried all of the things, and so he told me like that one's the best, and that's what I bought.
mhm,
And I have used them, and it's like literally just like real eggs. Like you actually can't tell the difference at
mhm,
all, except when they get a little old. So I tried mine that were getting like a little bit old, and I was like, oh, it just tastes a little bit different, but it still tastes like fresh. Like I still feel good about eating it, you know?
yeah,
But yeah, and then the freeze dry thing. I think, I mean, maybe you don't. And then my other thought was, oh, you could get chickens, I guess, if you wanted to, but but
Well, we have an
then I
HOA in a small yard, so you probably
yeah. Yes, those HOAs.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I think this could be because what if you don't need to prep eggs? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was my other thought. Like maybe you could like pray about it and like ask Heavenly Father, like, do I need to prep eggs? Will we be like fine in a certain situation?
Mhm.
Because you just like never know. Oh, Janica said they got chickens this year. Nice. You just like never know because maybe the Lord is like preparing a way if there's for some reason like food becomes scarce and is not available, which could totally happen. Or grocery stores aren't available like when COVID was happening and all that, like everything's cleaned out. Um, maybe the Lord's like preparing a way, like maybe your brother will get like a bunch more chickens or you just never know what could happen. And so I don't know, I would pray and ask him like, do I need to prepare the eggs? Do I like, would this be wise for me to do it? Because I feel like honestly, if it feels overwhelming, like you had a totally different feeling with like when you got the Sagan thing and you were talking about that, and that was like exciting. And I do feel like excitement like that light feeling excitement can be like a fruit of the spirit. And
Mhm.
then, like, it was, like, a totally different feeling when you were talking about the eggs, and I could tell it was, like, kinda weighing down upon you. And
Mhm.
so, I just think that there's significant feeling in that. I don't think overwhelm comes from the spirit, and, yeah, I would just pray and ask Heavenly Father, like, "What do you think? Like, what do I actually need to do?" And He'll tell you, you know?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But wouldn't that be great if it was just like, "No, don't worry about preparing the eggs."
That would be great. That would
Yeah.
be great. We just, like, eat them every morning, so it's like,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally.
Not
But
every morning, but, you know.
one of those cans of the Ova Easy, I think it runs like 80 bucks. I have reached out to them and asked them for a code, but they never got back to me. This was like 6 months ago or something. And so you just, some companies like they just haven't hopped on. It's like they're run by like older people and they just
Yeah.
haven't hopped on that influencer train. So, but I, but I can reach back out and see if they can get a code if you're interested. And again, those are like 8 years. So they do also have like little packets. Like they don't just do um the cans. And
Mhm.
so they have number 10 cans and they also have packets that have like, I don't know, 5 or 10 servings with a oxygen absorber. So those
Yeah.
are kind of nice because it's like less overwhelming to use if you need to use it. You're getting close to the expiration or whatever. So
Mommy.
cool. What else? Anything else that has been a challenge for you?
No, that's pretty much it. My kids love PB&Js, and that's easy, so
Yeah.
you
And
know?
way easy to store too.
Yeah,
Yeah, pop your bread in the freezer or like get ingredients to make bread. Do you ever make bread?
I do, yeah.
Oh,
I make wheat bread a lot.
perfect.
Usually when I'm just trying to rotate out our flour or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I know. I go through so much flour. It's like nuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, none, but it's like so much cheaper to make the bread than buy it, especially good quality stuff. You guys are lucky because you're in Utah and you got like the grandma's bread at Costco. We don't have that anymore. I'm in California now.
Yeah.
Because that's like the cheap one, but it's good quality too. So okay, cool. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Hey, how are you doing? Like, have you been able to keep up with your spiritual goals of, I think it was going to bed earlier. How's that been going?
Pretty good actually.
Really great.
Yeah, yeah, the waking up in the morning, I wake up because my baby wakes up at like 5 or 6, so, um, I'll wake up with him and just we'll go on a walk really quick in the morning and that, like,
Oh, wow.
by the time, like, 10:30 rolls around, I'm like, "I'm so tired." So
Yes.
it's been
Oh,
working out.
yes. That's so
Yeah,
good. Yeah. Shoot for as much sleep as you can. That's just so good for you.
yeah.
So great for your hormones and your mood and just all the things you probably know. Yeah. But cool. Okay. Well, if there's not anything else we can move on to anybody that wants to be next. Jenica, do you want to talk about your week? How it went? What was your baby step?
Um, so I've been like prompted for quite a while to like I bought last year, I think it was only last year, maybe a year and a half ago, but I bought 5-gallon jugs because I was like, okay, this is what, we need to do. And I wanted to
Mhm.
some small ones, in addition to our big ones. I haven't filled the big ones yet, but I did take a baby step and we filled our all of our 5-gallon jugs, and that
That's
was a big
great.
win for me. So
Yes.
I do so I did leave some bleach in the water because my husband was like, yeah, leave it in. But like you were saying, Kelsey and things, like you guys don't leave bleach in your water. Do you just like
I
so you
don't.
don't rotate it? You
No.
don't?
I just do the tap. I like if my if I really feel like it needs it, I'll do like a teeny bit of bleach to clean the vessel, the water vessel, and
Yeah.
then I'll do like a little bit of bleach in water and I'll shake it around really good for 5 or 10 minutes and then I'll rinse it out really well. And so I do think there's most likely there is some bleach that ends up hanging out in there. But that I just don't worry about too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, maybe I should dump this out and then fill it up. But he's like, just leave it. And so I'm just like, okay, because that used to be the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if
Totally.
it's harmful to leave
How
it, but
much did you put in your 5 gallon jug?
I just honestly went boop,
Oh, okay. So maybe like a
put water
tablespoon or
in and
something.
rinsed it, and then I just filled the rest of it up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, I think
A lot
that,
still.
yeah, I think that if you, whatever you feel prompted to do, like maybe your husband was acting in revelation. And I would say, how many 5 gallon jugs did you do?
7, 6 or 7.
7. Oh my gosh, good job.
Yeah, one for each
Yeah, it's like
customer.
totally up to you. You could always, it's like 7 is a lot, and especially if that was like a huge effort for you, you could still um pour them out and refill it. But I think it's just whatever you feel is best. Um,
Thinking like when I rotate them, I'm like, oh, we could use it for like our lawn and our garden and stuff. But then I'm like, but if there's bleach in there, do you know what I
it
mean?
might kill some plants, yeah.
Yeah. So next time around, I think I might do it a little bit differently unless we feel
Yeah.
the best way. But
Totally, totally. And we have a code for the Sagan filter. It's TPP15. I think it gets you 15% off. And so I'll put that in there. So if you do want to get that, and I'll put the link for it as well. And you can like just look at it and just see what you feel.
oh yeah,
So
I think in the long run, that's like on my wish list for sure.
yeah, yeah.
We
I think
keep coming
without
up with different things around our house that need our attention, and I'm like, no, I want my
oh,
attention here,
totally.
but it's been
But
a
you did a huge step. Like that's amazing.
yeah. I felt good
Good
about
job.
like I got these for so long, and now I'm finally filling them up.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
so huge. I
that's
love
good.
it. Good job. Okay, talk to me about, were there any other wins that you had that you're excited about?
I think just going back like a while ago, I made like a list for like dinners and things like that. And I kind of got out of the habit of going through my rotation of dinners of things that I was storing up for. I got that idea
Uh-huh.
from you guys. And so I kind of started getting back in that routine. And it is very helpful when it comes to budgeting and just knowing what to make and things. And so hopefully I
Totally.
can stick with that a little bit more. So that's always helpful. Same
Love
with breakfast.
it.
I do the same thing with breakfast. Lunch is a little bit more difficult for me.
I
But
know I don't even think about lunches. Like, I feel like when I'm planning my meals, I just always have leftovers. And so I just pretty much plan on leftovers every time. But then I will also just make sure that I have stuff for, like Kelsey was saying, like sandwiches and stuff like that, just because sometimes you just need to make a sandwich and you know. So yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Some of the other challenges I have with storing things
Mhm.
uh is my family is growing. I don't know how old your guys' kids are, but so our oldest is 14, but even like our 8 and 9-year-old and things, like every time I try to stock up on something, they, and I think I know a solution, but I can't do it quite right now. But like they know where the storage is and they just get into it, you guys.
Yeah.
Stay out of that. Like
Yeah.
I have a plan here and I want to like create a storage, but it's like every time I like get extra, it's like gone. Do you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to build this up, you guys.
Oh my gosh. And they see the
So
abundance and they're just like, oh, we have tons of this.
yeah. And so I'm like, I need to like lock it up and only bring it out when like I'm ready, you know?
Yeah.
But we haven't, like we're in a bunch of house construction and we just had
Oh, okay.
another water leak. So like I'm
Oh
just saying
no.
like, there's solutions to this, but I'm like, hey, Heavenly Father, if I can't do this right now, like what can I do now? You know?
Yeah. Okay. What was your solution that you were thinking about that you had mentioned?
Like locking it up. Like I really want
Mm-hmm.
to close it off and lock it up so that do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You can't just access it freely. But
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're out of this and it's time to bring another one out, then I have access over that. So
Yeah. Kelsey just asked, do you have a separate pantry for longer term foods versus like your shorter term?
um no. So we just built a pantry and
Okay.
that's open right now. And that will be more for short term. And then
Okay.
downstairs we have like our storage room, but that
Sure.
is open right now too.
Okay. Okay.
So
So is your short-term pantry, that's you built it in your kitchen, I
yeah,
assume? Yeah.
I
Is
still don't
that
have
completed?
like no, I still have to
Okay.
put cupboards on and stuff. Like we just put,
Okay.
so my husband is building them,
Oh,
which is
nice.
awesome, but
That's
it
really
takes
cool.
longer, right? So
Yeah.
the boxes are in and things like that. So I can put things in there, but like we don't have the cupboards and stuff. But so that's the short term.
Cool.
But downstairs is still
Yeah.
open.
So you're
So
just
that's where I
biding
do
your
the
time
socks now.
until Hi friends. Look at this little cutie. Um, okay, so my thought was, yeah, I think you're just kind of biding your time, I guess, to get the shorter term. Because like you could totally lock it up. I think when you get your short-term pantry, then you can just like bring stuff up as you go. Do you use the app at all?
No, well, I looked at it a little bit, but I haven't looked too much more.
Okay. So it's like it's an inventory app, right? And so what one way that Jessica does things that I think could work for you is she keeps the stuff, if you end up using the app, she keeps the stuff that is in like her long-term storage in the app. When she brings it over to her short-term, like up to the pantry and stuff, she takes it out of her app, like, and it goes to like the to buy list or something, right? Because every time you take something out of your storage in the app, it makes you a little grocery list and it's like, hey, don't forget to get this to replenish it. And that could be a good way for you to kind of stay organized and feel like you've got a little bit more control over your over your food storage,
Yep.
and you can say, okay, like, this is the stuff that we can pull from, and we're leaving the other stuff down, and there's still plenty of food. If we run out up here, we can bring more up, but just stay out of the basement or whatever.
Yeah.
And
And maybe that's what I need to do is just sit down and we've talked to them a lot about it and things, but I don't know. Just keep talking about it and maybe I need to pray about how to address it with them so that
yeah.
they understand a little bit more.
Yeah. And my
Yeah.
other thought is I think when kids feel like I've just seen this with my kids, like when they feel like my daughter said this the other day, she's 6, she's so funny, but she's like, I feel like so controlled. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like let's- so obviously we need to make some adjustments with how I ask them to do things. But I feel like when they feel like they're when something's restricted, they like want it so much
Yeah.
more. And so I wonder if there's a way that you can help them to feel like what you want to offer them is abundant and plenty. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And so that might be what I would pray about, is helping them to feel like what they have is what you want to offer them is abundant. And maybe it's like I don't know what the answer will be. Maybe some of it will be like, okay, I need to like just decrease my expectations on how long this food's going to last, or you know what I mean, like just consider that, or let go a little bit in that way. And I don't know, like I don't exactly know what the answer is going to be, but they probably it might do well just to help them feel like what you're offering is abundant, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like, this is like a woe is me session, but it's not
No,
quite
it's not.
that.
No, that's why we're here.
I'm just like, my circumstances right now are not ideal. That's okay. We
No
can
one's
work
are.
it out.
Yeah, nobody's are, but I just like think about, I don't know, I think about the way that Heavenly Father parents, and he's a parent of abundance, and I want to be so much more like that and like him. And I like when it's within righteous desires, I feel like he is such a yes man, you know? And so
Mhm.
I'm like, how do I be more of like a yes mom? You know, when it's
Yeah,
especially things that like aren't that big of a deal. And but sometimes I just in my mind I'm like, no, like I want it to be this way, and I can't see it another way at times, you know?
yeah.
Or I'm not willing to be flexible with certain things, or this is just me. I don't know if this is anybody else, but I just,
I'm with
yeah,
you.
I'm trying to be more like him in that sense, you know, be flexible. And but yeah, I don't know. I hope that helps a little bit. What are your thoughts as we're talking about this? Like, do you feel any solutions coming to your mind, or what are you thinking?
I don't know if I have solutions right away, but I think that talking about abundance and letting them feel like taken care of and that we do have
Yeah.
it, because I think I get in the mindset a lot with like everything going on. Like even since we've been married, like we haven't been abundant.
Yeah.
When you're first married, you're just not. And so I think my mindset and my husband's mindset need to, and we've talked about this before too, like switch to like the abundant mindset and maybe help our kids get in that mindset a little bit more so than taking from our scarcity mindset. And so I think
Love
just
that.
being Holy Father, I think that was an answer to prayer. It's just like, help me feel like and change my mind to an abundant mindset, and so that my kids can feel that from me too. Does that make sense?
Yes, and they totally will. Like they totally will. That's so fun. I love that for you. Like that's I feel way good about that, you know, because
It's
it
a
really
work.
does start with your own mindset, you know, in every way. In every
Yeah.
way.
And I know
So,
he's there guiding me. It's just like, okay, I'm doing this, but then it's all gone. So it's like I just need to
yeah.
work a bit deeper and see if that.
Yeah. And one thought that I had too is I just I really love to operate from the mindset that there's always more with the Lord. Always. Like there's always more. He gives us all the things. He's in charge of all the money. He's in charge of all the supply chain of the foods. He's in charge of everything. And there's always more with him. Like I think about like Isaiah, was it the prophet Isaiah and the widow, and she had her son, and they were like, she's like, I have this like last meal like to make this cake, and then we're gonna lay down to die, which is so sad. But like, and he's like, oh, I'm a prophet of the Lord, can I have Elijah? Thank you, Kelsey. Yes. Way to go. It's Elijah. And he's like, oh, I'm a prophet of the Lord, can you feed me some food? And she gives him her last meal, and she goes back and looks at the barrel, and it's like full, you know? And so I feel like he always takes care of his covenant daughters and sons, and whatever you, and like honestly, if we're just willing to sacrifice, he just throws all the good things at us. But and whatever you can do to prepare, like he's gonna make it enough when the rubber meets the road. You know what I mean? When the time comes. So yes, I love
Yeah.
it. There's always more with him.
Believe it. In moments, it's like, okay, now I need to like
Yes.
actually believe
Gotta
it.
really internalize this one.
Yeah.
It's so hard. totally
Can
know.
I just add, like, I love that
Yeah.
you put that up because, like, when I was praying about this stuff, the story of the loaves and the fishes came to mind where it
Yeah.
was just like suddenly like all these fishes came out of like one fish where you know, and just like the thought that, you know, Heavenly Father's going to bless our efforts and he's going to make it enough, you know, when the time comes basically. So that was just like one thing, you know, on the day 7 when I was praying about it that just came to mind.
Aw,
So
I love that.
yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
I was talking to this lady that works at Food Storage Depot in Utah. She's a good friend, and she is like the queen of preparedness, like amazing, you know. And I was like feeling this was in 2020 or 2021 or something like that, and I was starting to feel like really overwhelmed with my efforts to prepare. And she's like, "Listen," she's like, and kind of saying that same concept, like the Lord is going to magnify your efforts, and it will be enough. Like there's going to be somebody in your life that can give you something that you don't have, and you can give them something that they don't have. And she's like, and also like thinking about like an EMP or something like that when none of the phones work. She's like, my daughter is in Provo and I'm here in Salt Lake, but I already know and I have faith that I am somehow going to be able to find her and contact her when needed. You know what I mean? Like, and we're all going to be fine. An EMP is like a electromagnetic pulse where it's like, I don't know, it's, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but it's like they take out like the phone radio waves and, you know, power and stuff like that. Um but yeah, and I was like, that is just so true. Like he will always provide what we need in the
Mhm.
moment. So
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. Man, I'm like, I feel like I want to say in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. You know what I mean? It's like, cool. Mackenzie, Mikkel, you look like you're nursing, so we can do you last if you want. um, Mackenzie, do you want to go next and tell us about your week? Oh, Janica, was there anything else really quick that you wanted to talk about?
I think that was great.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. All right, Mackenzie, tell me about your week, girly.
Sorry, I was muted.
No worries.
Had a good week. I got my storage container or my water storage container, washed it, and I'm currently in the process of filling it up. I've decided, and maybe this is a stupid decision, but
I'll
we're
tell you.
filling it with distilled water instead of just normal
Oh,
tap
distilled.
water.
Okay.
So, because that is what I normally drink. We distill our
Oh,
own water, and I normally drink distilled water.
oh,
So,
sure. Okay.
okay, but it takes a long time to then distill enough water to fill the water container. So,
Right. Tell me
we're
about
working
this
on it.
distilling process. Like, is it like, do you have a machine that does it, or how do you
Mhm.
do it? Okay.
Yeah, and it takes about like 3 hours for a gallon.
Okay.
And so it's like not huge. It's not like a really big machine or anything. But and usually what
Right.
we end up doing is like we fill it up and then run it overnight while we're sleeping, and then
Oh, smart.
you wake up in the morning and you have distilled water to do whatever you want to do with.
Nice.
But really like drinking that because it latches on to like toxins in your body and things like that because there's
Mhm.
no minerals in the water. And so then
Right. I was gonna
it
ask you if you add
takes
minerals
all
back
of the
in.
bad stuff out. So no,
Okay.
I don't add anything to it, and I haven't seen any issues come up, but I've been doing it for a long time. So anyway,
Okay.
there's that.
Cool.
And then I was super excited to get the guide that you sent out for food prep because I like had like a little miniature breakdown last Sunday night, and this was
Oh.
before you sent it, and I was like, um, so I don't have kids, it's just my husband and I, and we both work full time, and I was being so bothered on Sunday night for no good reason really, except that I was like, I want more help with food because
Mm.
it's just on me, and I as we're both really busy and I want my husband to help a little bit just with like the process of even just like meal planning or grocery shopping or something like that. And I was like talking about it, and he that night was like, we need to just like create a rotation of meals, and like
Yeah,
that way I can feel like I know what's going on, because the issue is that he's like, concerned that I wouldn't want to eat or whatever, something that he had planned, and
sure.
that goes into a whole nother like
Yeah,
issue. But I was like, okay, like let's do that. I'll start working on like, a 2-month like plan or whatever. And that was like gonna be my project this week. And then on Monday morning you sent out that guide, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we were
what I
talking about. This is what I
needed.
need to start like really working on this, so that it makes like, even if it's even if it's not like for super long-term storage right now, just like short-term getting my meal plan together, like it makes my life so much easier. So been working on that, like taking what you had and kind of modifying it to what I
What
would
you
want,
like.
what we would need and
Yeah,
eat. um and so I haven't quite finished doing that yet. We're still like in that
perfect.
planning phase. So yeah.
I love it. And do you know what I might even do? I can't remember if we included a calendar page in that or not, that you can print out, but I might even take like a 30-day calendar and put in like just put in the meals that you think you want to make. And like I would say take into
Mm.
consideration and just like write the titles of the meal. You don't have to worry about ingredients or anything, at that point.
Mhm.
And then like you could just take into consideration, okay, Tuesdays are super busy. We have like, I don't know what calling you have, but let's say you're in young women's and you say, okay, I have mutual Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights or whatever. So that night you might do like a quick dinner, like plan a
Yeah.
quick one. And that might really, because for me, what really takes the longest in meal planning is just deciding what the flip I want to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, so if you can do that and have that ready to go, I think that'll make your process a whole lot quicker and like less burdensome. So
Yes, absolutely. So I'm
yes.
really looking forward to that. And then looking forward to like, okay, my husband then can anticipate too, like, okay, this is what we're gonna be eating over the next couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
saw that we're running low on this, and then he can add it to a grocery list or whatever it is. So it's like we're both on the same page about it, and it's not all on me. So,
Yes.
and that
I
makes
love
me
that.
really happy.
I love
Not
it
that I'm
so
not willing
much.
to do it, but I am, yeah. I feel like I'm getting burnt out because it's just been my role for so long, or since we've been
Totally.
married. So I'm like, okay, it's getting too much. I don't have a good system, and that's why it's too much. So we're needed. Yeah. I'm excited to change that.
Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay. I love it. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, um, if you guys, I don't know if any of you ever did we used to call it 14 days to food storage now, or no, we used to call it, what did we call it? I don't know. Now it's 14 days to food storage. It was, the 14-day food storage challenge before. But it has like a perfect system. Jessica has a brilliant mind and came up with it. And it is just a way that you can also build food storage. But I like to just plan my regular meals like she does because you save a ton of money and you're building food storage at the same time. And it's just totally good. So I think we did not, I can't remember if we gave you guys access to that or not. I'll talk about it, but either way, I also wanted to let you know that we are doing like a birthday sale next week. And so everything is going to be 67% off. And so if you want to get anything like next week, that's the time. Do it. But yeah, so, and we'll talk about, I will check. I don't know if we gave you access to the 14 days to food storage or not. But if you wanted to go over that, it's like an incredible system. It's basically the system that we sent you in the baby steps, but it's just like videos to kind of go into a little more detail with it. So, okay, cool. What else? What other challenges did you face, Mackenzie?
I think that was pretty much it.
Okay,
That's all I've been working on.
I love that you brought up to your husband that you needed more support, because that is what we all need to do more of as moms is get the support that we need. I think that Heavenly Father really wants that for us. I was like really frustrated one Sunday morning. My husband does word counsel every morning or every Sunday. And I was just struggling, and feeling annoyed at church because it was a rough morning and all this stuff. And I was like asking Heavenly Father, like, what do I do about this? And the answer was, you need more support. And I was like, well, that's frustrating because my husband is gone. So and then he gave a really good solution. It's like your past self can support your future self. So you can like kind of prepare like you do for everything else. You can prepare your Sunday morning the night before, and you can wake up earlier and do all this stuff. So that was one like solution that he gave to me, is like your past self can kind of hook your future self up. But I think in any instance, like it's always a positive thing to gain more support as a mom for everything, even if you like decide, or as a wife, even if you like, whenever you have a baby, if you decide to get a nanny for 2 hours a week so you can go do some self-care or something like that. Like, I just always think support is such a positive thing. The moms are all like, yeah. You look like you have thoughts about this, Kelsey. um okay, so Mikkel, how are we doing? Your baby's so cute. I can't even. Oh, she's so cute.
We're doing good.
Good.
But we're doing good. So yeah, I realized like 3/4 through the week, I was like, wait, I didn't see an email come through. So yeah, I haven't done a lot, but I did talk with my dad, who is a preparedness guru, I guess. He's really into it.
Nice.
I was like, help me decide what to do about water storage, because I really want to get the 55-gallon drums, but we don't know how long we're going to be in this house. And he's like, no, just get the 5-gallon ones. But he brought up a really good point, because I have little kids, 6 to newborn. And so he's like, all the ones that I've seen, like you can fill them up and you can stack them, but they're kind of wobbly. And if one of your kids goes down in the basement and pushes one over, that could be pretty bad. I was like, oh, you're right. Because I was just going to get a couple here and there just as our budget allows it. And he said he would recommend in my situation to get the Aqua Brick. And I think it's by the same people that do the Sagan filters.
Yep. So you can get a discount with our code on everything. Yeah.
Well, that'd be awesome, because they lock together. So it's still 5 gallons, but it's more secure.
Yes.
And it'll also take up less space. So I've decided that's the system I'm going to go with right now. But I did have some questions about the Sagan filter. So because we're going to get the 5 gallons, technically you don't need to pump out the water. You could just pick it up and pour it out, right? But would you still recommend pumping it out just to get rid of all of the
impurities? It depends on how often, if you want to take the effort to change out your water or not. So that's like totally up to you. Like if you're getting like 4 bricks, like probably just switch out your water, right? But if you're getting like a bunch of bricks and you're gonna end up having a lot of water storage, I probably would go for the filter, just so you don't have to worry about it. They have smaller filters for the Aqua Bricks too. Yeah, let me see Sagan Life. I'm sure they do. Let's see. Containers. Okay, so I'm looking at, you can get a big pack, the 6-pack of Aqua Bricks, and it comes with a spigot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there is a little kit that it comes with a pump and a filter as well.
Oh, okay.
But it's only a 2-pack. So take a look at the website and decide like what's going to be the most cost effective, because as I'm looking at, it's like a Aqua Brick water and purification system, and it's like 200. But if you were to get the pump and filter with our discount, I think it's like $70 or something,
Yeah, that's awesome.
or 60, 65, 70. And so it just depends on if that ends up being kind of a better deal for, like, I guess the package you want to create. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Yeah, as I'm
Okay.
looking at it. Okay.
And
Does
then
that help? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, that is helpful.
Okay.
Um, the other question I had about the Sagan filter, so you were mentioning that you could like put it into some really dirty water and pump out clean water. Would you
Mhm.
recommend having two filters? So like one for just your stored clean water that you're just pumping out the impurities, and then a second filter for those like more dirty situations? Or would the one filter be fine to use across the board?
No, I think the one filter is fine. I think
Okay.
it's wise to have just a second one just in case. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember how many gallons it filters. It's a lot. Like, it's like over 1,000. And so, yeah, I can't remember. I'll look that up. Because I couldn't find it like right away on the website. But yeah, I like, it's wise to have another filter, but I don't think I would like switch filters between clean and dirty water. I don't
Okay.
think it's really necessary. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that decision this week, which I have a lot of decision paralysis where I just
Same.
don't know what to do, so I don't make a decision.
Yes.
And
I keep things in my cart for like months.
yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
how
not
I
even
am
kidding.
too. So it felt really good to be like, okay, yes, this is what I'm going to go with. I just, yeah, need to figure out when we're going to get it now. Oh, sorry, she's getting fuzzy, but
Oh, no worries.
the baby step I wanted to take next was we have a lot of freeze-dried storage, but
Uh-huh.
I don't have any sort of inventory. I do have the app. So that was going to be my next project, is to find
Oh,
some time
nice.
in the next little bit to try and get all of that logged in, because we do have some freeze-dried eggs from Thrive Life.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that they had a shorter lifespan on them than the rest of it. So I definitely need to get that in there and look at all the expiration dates and see what we need to start using up.
Yes, I love it. Okay. Love that. That's such a good baby step. And you could even do like, decide to do 10 minutes every Tuesday or something. Like,
Oh, I love that, because I was
you know
thinking,
what I mean?
to find like a 2-hour block to just sit in our basement and go through all of our cans.
No, not
But
possible with a
that's much
newborn.
better.
Yeah, I mean, you could like put her in the bouncer, and maybe you plan to do 10 minutes and you just like get going and you end up doing 30 minutes or an hour or something like that. But I
Mhm.
would just plan on doing something really small and manageable. So if you get that 10 minutes in, like, check the box and, all
Yeah.
right, we'll see you next week, or we'll see you tomorrow for 10 more minutes, or, whatever it may be. So
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
yeah, okay, I'm glad that helps. Yeah. That's kind of what we recommend. Alicia did that when she was logging all of her food storage. I did mine kind of all at once. I think Jessica did hers all at once, and it was like quite the project, but she was like, I'm just doing like 15 minutes a day, and that worked well for her. So okay. What else? Anything else, Mikkel?
Just going back to the spiritual preparedness week, I started adding in unfollowing accounts. Not
Nice.
that I followed any bad accounts, but just lots of accounts that just didn't really add anything to my life, and it was just more content to scroll through. So just
Yes.
as I've been on Instagram for the past couple of weeks, if I come across an account, I'm like, I don't really know why I followed them or like what I get out, I'll just pop over to their profile and unfollow them really quick. And it just feels good to kind of start weeding through all the
Yes,
different.
I love it. That is awesome. I love that for you.
Yeah, it's been fun. And it's
Yeah,
just
good job.
less to scroll through. So if I get on Instagram and it's like, oh, I've already seen all this, I don't need to be on here.
Yes. And the accounts that you kind of engage with are going to be the ones that you see more of. And so if you So if you were to like go to like, I don't know, the apostles accounts or whatever and start liking a few of their posts, you'll see more of that and you'll see also less of the other stuff. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
definitely need to do that.
Yeah. Okay. And I forgot to, does anybody else have, is everybody else still working? I know Kelsey, we talked about, but Mackenzie and Janica, are you guys still working on your spiritual progress, your little baby steps that you had kind of planned out? And nice.
What about Janica?
She nodded yes. Okay.
Yes, I'm working on mine as well.
Awesome. Remind me of what you're working on, Mackenzie. I can't remember.
I'm working on spending more time on my family tree app instead of
Oh, yeah, that's
scrolling.
right. That's awesome. I love that so much. Okay. How's that going? Are you feeling the blessings?
um I don't know if I'm feeling blessings yet, but I've started to keep the app open. Like, so when I like will go and look at all of my open apps, I have it right there, and that has been more helpful than just,
Oh, I
you
love
know,
it.
having it as another app on my phone. So I'm seeing it more often, which has been helping. So
That's smart. I love that. Good job. Okay. Well, and then Janica, did you have anything to share? Anything more? You good? Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, this was so fun. We're out of time. So we used up pretty much the whole hour here. We're gonna get out a couple minutes early, but thank you guys so much. And then of course, we're always here to support you in the GroupMe group and send me an email if you need to. But the GroupMe is there to chat and we love that one. I actually love the GroupMe. It makes me happy. So use it and let's keep in touch. Okay, guys? And then you should get another email for the next module on Monday. So, okay, you guys have a great week.
thank you so
Much love.
much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shoot.